Now, I just want to make sure I say hi to a few others. So Ashley, Misko, I know your husband, Dan, he's awesome. And then let's see, Alyssa, thanks for joining. Hope you're great. Hopefully get a Bills game in soon, coming this season if we have it. Who else? Tyler, I know Tyler, I think I said hi earlier, Tyler Riesinger out of Niagara Falls, New York. My brother there works at NOCO. Thanks for joining. And obviously, again, everyone else who I've yet to meet, thank you for being here. This is exciting. So maybe 30 more seconds. And then, and also I'll say this, I know that we're all working from home, and some of my pals here, my Buffalo, New York friends, will get a kick out of this. Originally, I was going to wear my Buffalo is numero uno shirt, reminiscent of Arnold Schwarzenegger's Arnold is numero uno. And then I realized, Niagara is part of Buffalo, right? But I scrambled and found my Power of Niagara shirt. So what I'm getting at though is, feel free to join the video. I love, being able to see you folks, but if, you work from home and just, you don't have the ability to do it or whatever, no worries. But if you're able to join the video, great. If not, this is cool too. Also, Whitney, great to see you have joined. I'll look forward to catching up with you at Trek somewhere in the near future. Thanks for being here. All right. So what do you say? Rock and roll?
Sounds good.
Let's do it. And everyone else that joins in, we'll welcome them the same way. So yeah, so today, again, a lot of friends here, familiar faces and some that are not. I would love nothing more than this to be as interactive as possible. Imagine it's a conversation with 25 good friends, where we're able to, if you want to do it in chat, or if you want to just throw on your video or unmute yourself and interrupt me, please. I've been a king of interrupting people because of my energy. So I am used to and welcome being interrupted. So I don't want to just sit here and talk to you. There is no PowerPoint. There's no materials. Obviously, this is surrounding the book called The Go-Giver. Two good friends of mine that have become good friends of mine thanks to LinkedIn, Bob Berg and John David Mann. They've become pals of mine who authored this book, New York Times bestsellers. Kind of surreal how this is all played out. Now I'm out here, spreading the word, telling friends to read the book. I know, so Scotty Feige, I think if maybe it was Matt. Yeah, Scotty, Matt, I know you did, you read it, and maybe a few others in here that I've recommended too. So, I'm excited to be here, but again, please, any questions, remarks, comments, share your experiences. This is a safe environment. I'll be very candid and real with you all about my journey, using LinkedIn and, what, oh yeah, Matt, I got to get that. That's incredible. That is so good. Take a screenshot at Matt of yourself if you can and send it to me. I want to use that maybe in a post later and tag the authors in this. But again, there is no formal affiliation. I want to make sure I say that. It was written, Jim Dooley too, throwing in great book. Thanks, Jim. It is incredible. But again, no formal affiliation with them. They're just friends. I got clearance that this was okay to talk about. These are my personal interpretations of the 5 laws of stratospheric success and, what it is, the essence of being a go-giver. So really cool and surreal, again, using that word, that here we are talking about LinkedIn, which is a true passion and love of mine. And yeah, Dan he is quite awesome, no doubt. Yeah, and you guys rock it there. Keep doing great things and making the university proud. Ashley, thank you. But anyway, it's surreal to be here talking about Go-Giver because it's rooted in Vincentian principles, where we want to help where we can help as much as we can help. Obviously the Vincentian way is to help those that are underserved, disenfranchised, underprivileged. This takes even a more holistic approach at go-giving and helping and doing the right thing because it's the right thing to do. There's no win-win, and this is said in the book if you get a chance to read it or listen to it on audiobook. There's no win-win, because win-win implies that I scratch your back, you have to scratch mine. It's no, I want you to win 100%. And if I get something on the catch on the way back, great. If something comes down the line out of what I've done to give to someone else, then great. And if not, then you did it because it's the right thing to do. So yeah, I'm going to start on LinkedIn, talking about LinkedIn a bit because this is kind of why we're all here. I started using LinkedIn when I was literally just starting at Niagara, barely 18 years old. My dad, who is a Niagara University professor of psychology, says one day to me, John, go get yourself on LinkedIn, you'll be glad you did. It's the professional version of Facebook. And I, of course, 18 years old, what the heck is this? I like Facebook. I don't need to use LinkedIn. So I finally, though, heeded to his command. For those who know my dad, he can be an intimidating man, but he's a good dude. So I did go and, I remember, never forget, I was in the Niagara University library downstairs typing up my summary as if it were Facebook, saying, oh, I love fishing and I love the Bills, and I have a passion for, all these random things. I didn't really understand what networking, or I should say LinkedIn, really was. And now fast forward 11 years later, even over 11 years, a lot of places, things I've done, people I've met, companies I've worked for or collaborated with have come through LinkedIn. So I cannot stress enough how important it is to really make sure that, if you're not on LinkedIn, get on it. And if you are, and you think you should be doing more, then definitely, definitely make that happen, because it can afford so many cool things, more than just professional too. So a show of hands or chat or anything like that, who is on LinkedIn? You can show of hands. Yeah. So I see the folks that have the video up. Yeah. And, oh, that's cool. You can raise your hands on this. That's easy. Okay. And for the folks that may not be or don't use it as much, is there a specific reason to why maybe you haven't really used the tool as much, or any of that? Anyone can just shout, just throw yourself right in there. So maybe that's a bad question. I'll pivot back and say, someone tell me just a quick story on networking or LinkedIn as a tool. What good has come out of LinkedIn, even if it's just, having an online resume for people to see? Anything? There we go. Go ahead, Maddie.
So one thing I could say about LinkedIn that I've learned I've been on LinkedIn since LinkedIn was not sure what it was going to be. And I've seen it evolve into a more, it used to be a real professionally focused thing, in the respect that everything had to be very strict, very businesslike. Everybody was in a shirt and tie. And now it's become a way to really network on an almost more casual basis, but still have a professional overtone to everything you're talking about. So it's a place that you can actually imagine a cocktail mixer after work. It's kind of got that feel to it now, more so than that whole very strict rules. Back in the early days of LinkedIn, which wasn't that long ago, but every post that somebody put on, there'd be at least one person commenting, "This doesn't belong on LinkedIn. Save this for Facebook." And yes, there's definitely things that people still do on LinkedIn that are not appropriate for a business setting, but it's more, business has become more of a personal relationship kind of thing than just business suit and tie 9 to 5 kind of thing. It's sort of an ongoing thing, and a social network for people who want to do business but also have relationships with people is exactly what LinkedIn's become. And that's why I love it. And of course I met people like Mr. Osberg here through LinkedIn, and our mutual interest in putting out the good word. So
that's right. Thanks, Matt. That's very well said. And I'm seeing some thanks again. And I'm glad we connected through LinkedIn and at different events, when events were still a thing. And I'm looking at the chat now. So yeah, Lauren, very well said. And Whitney, I love that. Claire had found you, another Niagara alum. Claire is a rock star. And what else do we got here? So yeah, so Whitney's saying, be new to the area. Yeah, kickstart your adventure. So it's a platform. It's a catalyst. It's an igniter. If you care about, and I'm just going to keep reading. Actually, sorry. Weekly jobs. Yeah, love that. You can definitely see if there's, if you're looking for that next move, that next opportunity. Ashley weighed in with saying, staying informed. Yeah, on the area. Yeah, you can find a lot of really good articles. I mean, I can't tell you how many times in a day I'm going through my feed. Jacqueline posting something really cool that's happening at the university, or an article she found that's relevant to her and to her network. Tyler Riesinger on our call here posted about Lakeward spirits and how maybe I said that wrong. Tyler, feel free to correct me. But Tyler put out a really
Lakeward spirits, and they're down in the Old South Ward of Buffalo, right off.
Why don't you tell them what you posted?
Street. Oh, so they've it's a client that we've been working with here at NOCO. They are a distillery, brewery, entertainment venue, and they've been able to kind of, I'm going to say this word, even though sometimes it makes me cringe, pivot.
Pivot.
And utilize their operation to produce hand sanitizer for the local area. And they were actually able to donate some to the city of Buffalo's fire and police department. So I just thought that was really cool and worthy of a shout out.
Yeah, and thanks, Tyler. I would not have known that. When I saw it, I got a jolt more so than I already kind of naturally have, constantly going jolt of energy, and it was incredible. So when Tyler, made sure, that's the one thing too. And again, I know we're having this conversation here. We'll be sure to cover the topics. We're kind of covering it through Q&A almost, but posting that content and being able to see that, that to me was exciting. And I would say if you see things, just kind of fast forwarding some tips maybe in terms of building a brand, please comment on a post that if you have the time. It doesn't have to be like, sometimes I write paragraph comments, and I've had people say like, your comments give me energy, they give me life, but you don't have to do that. Just something to weigh in on, say, this is incredible, this inspired me. Make sure you tag that person by using the @ symbol, because then that person will not know you commented. And if you want to tag in the company too. So again, I'm looking through the feed and we're kind of covering, I know Pat, through that kind of what we're talking about now about great spot for industry related articles and content that's relevant for issues that you might face in your current role. And I'm seeing some cool connections happen here with Anna Maria and Claire. So again, Claire, crushing it, love it. Mary Lynn, so I see a career advisor, stories about successes at jobs. Yep, because of LinkedIn. So really, being almost an ambassador of LinkedIn and saying, in the career advisory world that LinkedIn is such a tool. So Mary Lynn, I'm sure this resonates with you pretty strongly. So thanks for offering that. So, again, a lot of good things here. I'm getting called an influencer by Maddie, I wish. But yeah, I mean, there's things that you could do. Like today, I went for an early morning run through the cemetery. I know it's kind of weird for some folks. I look at it as hallowed grounds, a place to reflect, introspection. And Les Brown, if anyone knows Les Brown, motivational speaker, so happy at the end of my run that he delivered a quote that talks about how the richest place in the world is the cemetery, because that's where, there's so many unfounded dreams and goals and discoveries of cures potentially for, diseases, whatever. So I threw that out and it resonated with people, and a bunch of commentary, some messages followed. So it's a place to hold a forum of conversations that relate to you, that resonate with you and the folks that are following you. So I think I got most of it. I know Whitney weighed in with some other things, next step. Yep. Kind of echoing what Lauren Lewis was saying about how, you can network virtually and then have that then turn into an in-person. So yeah, very, very well said. So, the basics are, make sure you have your profile. And again, I know Claire, for any of the folks that attended Claire's session last month, and I know she's a rock star. I've seen the presentation, her and Dan Schlein, another Niagara alum, do a great job at covering those fundamentals. At a high level, you want to make sure you have a sound profile, picture, title, things that are going to kind of encapsulate what you are all about, your purpose, your why, your passions. And then obviously your skills, that's great too if you're a job seeker. So you want to have that profile, and then you really want to find ways though to kind of captivate your audience and engage. And again, a lot of this chatter in this chat is kind of all pointing to that as well. For me, I love to sing praises for people. Again, going back to that go-giver mentality where I see someone post, hey, I lost my job. Okay, boom, I'm thinking Claire Petrie is someone that, that person can talk to, or someone that's looking for an investor in their startup. Okay, I want to comment or message them and say, hey, listen, I'd love to help, and be, again, that go-giving nature of, hey, I got a few people in mind that you should talk to. So it's a way to connect people. It's a way to advocate for brands, for causes, for people. And so I use that as my platform. I'm using the word platform a lot, but stage, to, again, spotlight those incredible causes, companies, people that should be known, and that would help them grow and progress in a positive way. So LinkedIn as a networking tool truly is powerful. 600+ million people, that are on there, and it's your resume that never sleeps. It's online at all times. It's evolving. And it's a place where you can stay connected like you do on Facebook or other social platforms, but it has that professional flavor, I should say, like Matt talked about earlier. But then now there is that way to intertwine personal and your civic passions with your professional, because as I'm sure we all know, and I'm getting a bit of a diatribe here, so I'm gonna slow down and throw some questions back out to the group here. But prospective employers, partners, whatever it may be, they want to see a well-rounded person. And again, that goes back to go-giving and the 5 laws that we're going to touch on. And by hitting those 5 laws and ingraining those 5 laws of stratospheric success will lead to that well-rounded being, that professional, that person. So it's really important. Are there any topics specifically, if there are questions? I know, again, if you've attended Claire's sessions, and of course Clara would be, I'm sure, more than happy to chat with that, and so would I. But are there any actual technical questions on the platform, how to use it, how to post things, anything like that at all? Please, yeah, I see. I think we got a few hands, unless those were there. Please feel free to throw in the chat, or go in the chat, or if they want to just ask with audio, that's great too.
So I think some of the hands were up from earlier.
Okay, those are just
I
stuff
think
that.
I actually have the ability to lower the hands. Yeah.
Are there any questions though on the platform itself? I'm happy to give a few use cases too on cool opportunities I found myself in, whether it was a new job or whether it was just the ability to, again, I talked earlier, talking with 2 New York Times best-selling authors. Again, that's a surreal moment of now they've become kind of friends. I have their personal info, and maybe there's a way that I can collaborate with them by being an actual licensed go-giver speaker. That could be something that I do. And that there, again, is an opportunity that I can do to progress myself, my career, my skills. Is there anything, though, technically related to LinkedIn that we can cover? Okay. If there is, just throw in the chat, and happy to answer anything that might pop up as we go along. Let's hit the second point now. So talking about a go-giver. Before we do that, though, again, I want to force, almost, if I have to, force the conversation. It sounds weird, but I want this conversation, I want it to be a bilateral talk here. So go-giver, it's a unique term. I want to ask though, first, there's in the book, if you've read it, there's a discussion, and I won't cover too much of it because if you're going to read it, I don't want to spoil anything. But in the beginning, they talk about a go-getter. Can someone throw in the chat or with audio what they find, the definition of a go-getter in their mind is? Go-getter. So sometimes people think it might be the opposite of go-giver. Anybody want to take a stab?
John Osberg.
Yes, sir.
It's you.
Oh,
He's the go-getter.
Oh, now it's $20 on Venmo. Darn it. Okay, so Ashley says someone who's ambitious. Okay, I like that. What else? What else? It's me, I guess. Thanks to Scott. I love that. Thank you. What else? Someone who's leading. Yeah, so a leader, no doubt. What else we got? Leads, proactive, ambitious. These are great descriptive words for a go-getter, no doubt. Okay, let's do one more. Give me one more. Okay, we got a few more. Good. So by any means necessary, love that. Motivated, purpose, focused, and working through all barriers to their goal. Love that. Love that. That's well said. And Whitney, I will certainly get back to that question. I'm going to keep the momentum going on go-getter. So yeah, so go-getter, a go-getter is someone that, that sometimes can be categorized if you read the book and you look at other, I guess, writings on it. Sometimes a go-getter could be looked at as someone who's ready to do whatever it takes. Yes, but maybe to the detriment of others at points in time. So you might say a Wall Street banker is a go-getter because they went to, Wharton School of Business and they're making that, making $1 million a year, but there might be times where their morals are in question. It's not always the case, so I'm not going to say that or overgeneralize. But the point that the authors in Go-Giver wanted to talk about, though, is you can be both. And so I would like to think myself as a go-getter and also a go-giver. And so when Scotty made that funny remark, I appreciate that. So it's not mutually exclusive. So then what is a go-giver? So a go-giver is someone who is abundant in their give. And it's not just money, it's, donations, charity, it's their time, it's their energy, it's their support. It's to be a soundboard for a friend, for a stranger, someone that emits energy that makes people want to be around you because you have that giving nature. And it's not like, again, you're not keeping score. As mentioned earlier, it's not win-win, it's just win. And it's 100% win for the party that you're helping without expectation of having something come back to you because they owe you. Maybe in the universe, something comes together where, yeah, there's great energy that you put out and then something good's going to happen, whether it's that person that does it or it's someone that saw you do something good for someone else. So a go-giver is, yes, it's the essence of a go-getter with all the things we talked about, but it's someone that's very focused on making sure that they give. And it's, again, not just money and effort and time. It's a myriad of things. It could be just that holding a door open for someone and saying how are you doing today with a smile, where you're giving that good energy off to somebody. So, again, the book will talk more obviously about that, but in essence, a go-giver is someone who also practices the 5 laws. So maybe that's the right time to pivot to the 5 laws. So I have sheets in front of me. I want to make sure I give you, it's kind of, again, no affiliation, but what the book talks about, because I don't want to screw up the wording. But so the first one is the law of value. And I'll tell you what their little remark is. So it's your true worth is determined by how much more you give in value than you take in payment. So does anyone have a thought on that? I'll say it one more time. The law of value is the first, and it's your true worth is determined by how much more you give in value than you take in payment. So anyone have any ideas, comments, examples? I'd love to get some thoughts on that first law of stratospheric success, if anyone has any. Law of value. Anybody? Okay. So no worries. Maybe what I'll do is I'll just kind of go through them, and then we can hit on anything that might resonate. So again, first, the law of value. Second, the law of compensation. So law of compensation obviously is kind of there we go. I like that from Patty there. Give to others unconditionally. Yeah, love that remark. But just going back to law of compensation, it's pretty self-explanatory. But your income is determined by how many people you serve and how well you serve them. So there's some interesting use cases in the book. I just revisited the audiobook while I was driving, cutting the lawn, whatever. And so there were some examples in the book, and I'll just give you one of them. It talked about how there was the school teacher who was passionate about helping children and doing it in a unique way, but she found herself spinning her wheels. And then one day she started thinking, maybe there's a product that I can get out to the market. I'm going to need some help from some people. So she kind of identified some centers of influence that could, fulfill those needs. And she started kind of going down that path of trying to build a product. And as she did that along the way, she realized that in order for your income to go up, again, it goes back to law of value, but you also need to expand how many people you serve. So this is a great topic for us Niagarans, us Purple Eagles, having that ability to affect the masses, which for someone like me, that's a deep passion of mine. I have an energy and a desire to help and uplift people that may be viewed as unique or uncommon. So is it great to speak with the 25 of us here? Absolutely. And I'm hopeful and excited that if you have a good experience, you tell others, and maybe you refer the book out to your friends. And so then I've inspired you to then go out and tell others. But if I had 25,000 on this call, would it be more impactful? Yes. So the law of compensation looks at, if you are looking to start that business, look at who you're serving and look at the market and look at how you can get the best value delivered to them so that it's going to improve their lives. So law of compensation is number 2. The third one here, and this is a big one for me, is the law of influence. Again, these are very self-explanatory, but I want to hit on some key points. And again, their remark behind the law of influence is your influence is determined by how many people you serve. Oh, I'm sorry, I read the wrong one, excuse me. Your influence is determined by how abundantly you place other people's interests first. I'll say that again. Your influence is determined by how abundantly you place other people's interests first. So this is probably like the true essence of go-giving. In my opinion, again, personal interpretation, so much so that it's a quote on the beginning of my LinkedIn profile. I have 3 different quotes that I have, and this is the first one because it's so true. I've got folks on this call that have helped me and I've helped them because it's how abundant you place other people's interests first. And if you can place other people's interests first, there's a myriad of things that will happen. If you're a salesperson, you place that person, that prospect or that client's needs first. What do you think is going to happen? Instead of saying me, my product's this, my service is that, but you make it about them. I'd love for some feedback here. What do you think is going to happen if you put their needs first? There's one word out there I'm looking for. It starts with a D, and that's what you will do to this person if it's abundantly clear that you are putting their needs first. Any guesses on what that might do? Hopefully my question asking is decent. I did grow up with an academic for a father, and I should be better at asking questions. So again, let me just step back. So let's do this. Option one, I'm selling, I myself work in risk management. I work for a risk firm in Buffalo, New York. If I go to, let's say, Tyler Riesinger, my buddy there who works for NOCO, and I go to him and I go and, hey, Tyler, how you doing, buddy? Yeah, man, I work for this great firm. We've got 25 different carriers. We've got, the average amount of experience in our office is 20 years. Last year we did $10 million in revenue, just use an example. I myself have sold $2 million in revenue. Here are the services we offer. That's option one. Or option two is, hey, Tyler, how you doing? How's the family, by the way? How's your son? Again, just use an example. How's your son doing? Oh, that's great. So talk to me. What's going on in your world? What things are maybe some challenges, some opportunities? Tell me more about your situation. I'm really curious of what's going on, and then let him open up to me. So what option do we think is better? One or two? One where I'm just ranting about myself, or two where I'm asking questions? Yeah, two for sure. So again, that goes back to law of influence. What did I do in the second option there with Tyler? What law was I using that I just talked about? Whitney's crushing it today in the chat with some great trust and build a relationship. Yep. Whitney's got some really good pieces in here. That's awesome. Well said, Whitney. Whitney better be doing a talk soon, by the way, Jacqueline. She's killing it. So it's the law of influence. It's the law of influence, right? So you were abundantly clear that you are placing someone else's needs before yours. So that is how life should be, in my opinion, and to a lot of the most successful people in the world, the law of influence is a cornerstone. Number four, the law of authenticity. You're seeing that today. I hope so through me. It's that candor, it's that realness, that rawness, that humanity, that humanness, if that's a word. Where I'm sitting here in my place with my Power Niagara shirt, my beard's overgrown. At least I trimmed it up a little bit. Making remarks about how I'm not really doing a great job at asking questions. I'm being me is the point. So, being yourself, what they say is the most valuable gift you have to offer is yourself. I'll say it again, the most valuable gift you have to offer is yourself. So just a quick use case in my world. And if anyone wants to piggyback off of this example, for the longest time, I'd apologize to people, whether it's colleagues, friends, prospects, whatever it may be. I'd apologize because I had so much energy, and I might talk a little fast sometimes when I got excited, or talk a lot. As a good salesperson, by the way, though, talking less is pretty important. So you got to have multiple faces, but I'd apologize for the energy that I brought and the excitement and the passion, because I thought I was overbearing. And so what I started to realize, though, was feedback from folks, friends, colleagues, people I didn't even know, saying, no, don't ever apologize. Your energy is infectious. It's contagious. We love it. Be you. You got to be you, unapologetically you. So the law of authenticity to me resonates well, because I think I myself, again, use case, have the ability to connect with a lot of different people from different walks of life, because you're going to get me, always. There's no facade, or I'm not going to dance around and try to sound really smart. It's just going to be who I am. And if you like it, great. And if you don't, then that's fine too. So the law of authenticity resonates deeply with me. I'd love to hear any other comments or experiences with that too, if there are any. I know some of this is could be a bit private or personal, I guess, but if there's anything that comes to mind, I'd love to hear it. Anything on the law of authenticity? All right, no worries. But hey, think about that next time. If there's something in your head and you wanted to say it, but you're maybe like, it's kind of weird, just think about the law of authenticity on your next Zoom call and say, you know what, I'm just going to say it. Obviously within reason sometimes, but know your audience, I guess, could sometimes be a good thing to go off of. The fifth law, the law of receptivity. This is a big one, and it's not, I guess, is self-explanatory to others. This is one that I've dealt with. I like how I'm just going to pivot here. So we got a few. So Ashley, it took me about 30. Let me ask first, is it okay that I'm reading out of the chat? just give me a thumbs up or a hand up, whatever, from both Dr. Barnwell and Ashley. Is that okay? Got one there. Got one there. Beautiful. So Ashley says, it took me about 30 years to be unapologetic myself, but it's the only way to live. Amen to that. And honestly, that took me about that amount of time too, just under it. Very on, kids. I love it. I am not. No worries, Ashley. All good. All good. And then Dr. Barnwell, third law. And I think laws might resonate pretty well with Dr. Barnwell, given his philosophy background. Pretty surreal to be giving a talk to who I looked at as one of my favorite professors back, when I was there. My hair's out of control. He said, here we go. Though. This is the law of authenticity at work, right? Like, this is it. Now I'm getting excited. Now, Scott, you're getting your wish, or Matt too. The full energy's coming through. But Dr. Barnwell, you're a philosopher, so that's expected, just saying that. But let me finish though. So third law, how do you write your profile that focuses on others' needs instead of what you have to offer? All right, let me focus in on that. So I think what'll help with, your profile's appearance on showing that, let's see, the third law here, the law of influence, and so that other people's needs are before yours. Get recommendations. I think I've got 40 to 45 recommendations. They're at the bottom of the profile, but people actually still do read them. I kind of forgot about them for a while. Some I solicited and others that just popped up, but LinkedIn recommendations are pretty cool. It's as if you're just getting a letter of recommendation as if you're a student or you're looking for that new job. So I think one thing that you can do is if you are someone that's living, with these laws in mind, specifically focused on the third law of influence, having people speak about you on your behalf could be one of the best ways, I think. It looks like Matt Carlucci's now in a dance club. Matt, do me a fist bump. Give me something. Here we go. Sorry, guys, I'm all over. But so law of influence, I think the recommendations would be a good way. And then for me, out of my own experiences, if you look at my LinkedIn summary, that's a good place where you can put some thoughts. There's a lot of there are a lot of times, I know Claire would agree with this, and Claire, if you do, throw that hand up for me once I say it. But there's a lot of times where people want to look like they're more of it's hard to say, like they want to show that they've got such status or that they're an executive, so that their summary is written in third person. John Osberg is the founder of XYZ company, this and that. What I've seen best from the profiles I've viewed, and I look at LinkedIn all day, every day, are the ones that are really, really genuine and sometimes informal almost. So if you look at my LinkedIn opening, you'll notice I have quotes on there. I think that's another one too, Dr. Barnwell. The three quotes I have, let's see how good my memory is. The first one is the one that's from here. So your influence is determined by how abundantly you place other people's interests first. The other one's from Stephen Covey, and that's listen with the intent to learn, not with the intent to reply. And the third one was Simon Sinek, and I think some of these will resonate with you. The third one is, when we help ourselves, we find moments of happiness. When we help others, we find lasting fulfillment. So there's ways that you can personify yourself through quotes, through use cases from friends and recommendations, and just being yourself in that opening paragraph on your LinkedIn summary, which is right at the top. So anyway, hopefully that answered. I know I was getting a little ranty there. Let me catch up on the chat here. So I love what Whitney said. Again, another gem. Authenticity takes courage. People respect real. Right. So today, if I was having a bad day, I would have just come out and said, listen, it's been a crazy week. This is, again, an example. I didn't have a lot of time to prep. Sorry, I look like whatever. And I appreciate your understanding and your patience, and let's do this talk. So having that, that realness, again, yes, they definitely respect that. Ooh, Jack. Okay. That's Jack there. Okay. I'm just going to make sure I got it here. So well said there, Whitney. I know Ashley approves. Fifth grade. I love that. I find that my awkward. Okay, so you know what? Again, I want to make sure if you put in the chat, just say that it's okay to share. I think this can be seen by everyone. Mary
Yeah,
Lynn,
they're ready to everyone, so you should be good. If you want to send it privately, maybe message just John. But if you are in the chat box right now, it is going to everybody. And John, I just grabbed your quotes off your profile, so you can skip mine.
Yeah,
and
it's
to the
fine.
people that know me, if I'm getting into a tangent or diatribe or anything, just flip up something on the screen there with your emojis. I know I'm getting a little excited here. So Mary Lynn though says, I find that my awkward self keeps things authentic. It's hard to feel elegant if your socks are slipping in your shoes. It's no use pretending. That's amazing. That quote right there, if you have a LinkedIn, that should, I mean, you could probably play with it a little, but that just shows you right there how real and candid, that Mary Lynn is. And people are going to be attracted to that. When people are trying to hold it together and show that they're perfect and the lives are great and there's no issues, there's no flaws, people are going to start suspecting something's off, or they're faking it, or they're lying, or they're trying to fool us. So when you have that authenticity, then yes, you're going to have, I think, more people come to you and say, this person is real, and they're magnetized. Matt Carlucci, real quick, can I share at a high level some of our chats this week? I know we texted about some stuff, and I know it went back and forth. Is that cool?
I was actually gonna share it myself, so let
me stop talking and please you do it.
I actually want to hear your perspective of our chats, because I know exactly where you're going with this, and I was hoping you would allude to it. So I actually really do want to
hear. With your permission, though, I wanted to make sure. I don't want to just throw that out there. Yeah. Hey. So Matt, again, a lot of friends on the talk here on this chat, and they'll tell you that they can call me, text me anytime, whatever it's about. I'm always there. I want to be a friend and support. And so Matt texted me earlier this week. I mean, Matt, give me a thumbs up. Like, do you want me to be pretty detailed in it? Like, within reason? Okay. So Matt texted me.
I'm going to let you be authentic on my behalf.
There you go. So. Yeah. Well, as long as it doesn't burn others sometimes, you got to be mindful, right? No, but this wouldn't burn you, obviously. So Matt just basically says, I'm trying to remember, like, that's the thing. I have so many conversations on a daily basis. It was basically along the lines of, do you ever get, tired or beat up or just down after a lot of effort and forging along and being the rock for your family, for your friends, for your colleagues? There's something along those lines. So when I read the text, I immediately appreciated, again, looking at these laws, that authenticity piece. The law of authenticity was evident right there with Matt. And so we got to chatting via text, and it was basically like, of course, we all do. I do. And, I wanted to support him. So I was asking some questions, talk to me about this, like what's going on, how's the family? And then, based on the feedback he gave me, I'm a big YouTube guy. So Tyler Riesinger will give you a thumbs up on that. Scott Feige will give you a thumbs up on that. Lauren Lewis, Danny Abatoy, if I'm saying that right, Dan, sorry, I should know how to say your last name. Send him a YouTube playlist or videos. And I know I did that with Scotty Feige and some others too. And they're just jolts, right? There's messaging that's important based on kind of what you're going through that can help you get through those times. So yeah, I mean, Matt was his real self. He's always his real self. Matt, by the way, is the founder of Suit Fest, which is the area's largest, I think maybe the nation's. They get like 5,000 people at the convention center every year. It's all kind of charity related. So he does Suit Fest, and he does a bunch of other things. I'll spare that. Now, Matt, you owe me $10 on Venmo. Handle is John Osberg. So Matt, that was kind of a high level there, but I'm just going to keep going on the chat here. So I know Jack's doing some great summaries. Thank you, Jack. Okay, Claire, I want to make sure I hit on some stuff from Claire. So she says that summary's a great place to write in first person, like John said, a place to add a story, something above and beyond what you would do on a resume. Share your passions, what keeps you waking up in the morning. Have people be able to hear your voice through it, and that's just gold right there. Copy paste that into a note somewhere on your computers, guys, because that's great, guys and gals. And I think if you read mine, for the people that are familiar with me, they will notice that my voice is definitely in my intro. So Whitney was responding back. Okay, great. Pat, I feel like recommendations are the perfect example of go-getting. Yep, and can cover all 5 laws, being yourself while 100% helping others. I feel like recommendations are very underutilized. Yes, they are. And that's kind of why Pat, I mentioned earlier, like, I almost forgot about him. I remember seeing like the last recommendation I got was maybe like a few years into my first ever job. And then there was like a 4-year gap, I think. But then what happened was I had a few people just write me out of nowhere recommendations. I was like, oh, that's really nice. It makes you feel good. Shows that you're seen. And Matt Carlucci, again, back to Matt, not to overdo with him, but he just threw out a LinkedIn post today about how important it is to make sure that people are seen for their efforts. And that's, again, what a go-giver does. They give their energy, their time, their appreciation, their gratitude, and you can use LinkedIn to do that. So well said, Pat. Definitely get into the recommendations more. Yeah, Brian, I love that. Thanks. And Brian, thanks for hopping on. Great to connect on LinkedIn. I remember we chatted. I believe, Brian, are you from Delaware North? If I remember correctly, testing myself here. I thought I remember seeing us connect. So if that's the case, then thanks for being on.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Brian. Thanks for joining. I realized that NU, this is Mary Lynn. I realized at NU that pizza wings are social equalizers. Love that. Well said. Well said. And then let's see here, Anna Maria. We always get what we give. We need to do the right thing, and it will be back to us. It's sort of personal mission, a way how we live our lives. Once again, pure gold. Please, if you guys have not read, guys and gals have not read the book, or start the audiobook, it's, you guys, this is amazing. This is awesome. Getting goosebumps. So thank you. And again, if you guys have any other comments, please. And I know, Whitney, we still need to circle back to the technical piece. We will certainly do that. I know you had a question earlier in the chat. So I'm going to go back to so how do we excel on LinkedIn in business and life by being a go-giver? We've talked on that a bit, but if I had to throw that out to the crowd, who, now that after what we talked about LinkedIn, go-giving, go-getting, what do you think are some elements of how to excel on LinkedIn and in business and life by being a go-giver? I'd love to get some thoughts here, so I can get some water because I'm starting to get dry in the mouth. Anybody? How do we, ideas for how we will excel, how we can excel on LinkedIn and business and life by being a go-giver, by living through those. I'm sorry, this is Dr. Brown.
Do you mind if I actually I took all 5 laws offline. Do you mind if I send it in the chat? Is that okay to do?
Please, that'll be fine. Yeah, that's public info, no doubt.
Okay, just want to know. I figured if I found it publicly, I could send it, but just to reiterate a lot of the points that you were making.
Yeah, and I messaged with Bob. I know, Jack, we talked about this, and he was like, he wrote me a really nice note. Almost, it was like, I was kind of surprised at how long it was, and he was cool with it. But no, that's great. Dr. Barnwell, quickly, 5th law. Yeah, so the law of receptivity. And actually, now that you say that, I realize I got caught in a tangent and I didn't even finish that. So I'm going to reset. Law of receptivity has to do with putting yourself open to good things coming back to you. So actually, it's funny, for the longest time, I've struggled with that because I'm all about giving. And if there was anything that was coming my way, I always kind of was like, oh yeah, it's fine. No, don't worry about it. Especially if there was monetary value involved, especially then I'd be like, no, it's fine. Don't worry about it. I was just doing it to help, but by doing that, it almost stunts the circle or the flow of go-giving. And so you want others to be able to give to you. Again, doesn't have to be money, doesn't have to be product, service, tangible. It can be just, again, someone listening to you, supporting you, giving good energy at an event, whatever. So the receptivity piece is key, because give is great, but you need to also be open to getting from others. It's again, it's pretty self-explanatory, but making sure that, that you do almost like a self-audit on think about the last 2 weeks and what opportunities may have come your way and how have I reacted to those opportunities? Have I, as long as that they're legitimate ones or reasonable and relevant, how I responded to those. I think that's a good exercise to do. So think about what's come your way through these, again, I know the title was New Reality. Through the new reality we've lived through, think back to anything that might have popped up, even if it was something simple, and how did you react? Self-audit, I think, is key. So Dr. Barwell, that's that. And thanks, Jack, for putting in the chat those laws for everyone to see. And yeah, you can find those too online, no doubt. So Ashley Nisko picking up, she says, genuinely connecting with others and getting to know them. Then you can help them through mutual connection experiences. That, I think, was back to my question of how do we excel on LinkedIn. So well said, absolutely. And I think to expand on Ashley's remark about genuinely connecting, that's important. I think, again, Claire will back up on this. There's a few schools of thought with how to connect. I just crossed the 12,000 follower mark on LinkedIn because, again, I've been on it for a decade. I connect with a lot of people within reason. I have the ability for people to follow me, and that's a whole nother conversation that might get too in the weeds. But basically, genuinely connecting means, in my opinion, you find people that are doing things that you like to do that align with your passions or your line of work, and that you're going to benefit from seeing their content, and vice versa. And maybe you do have those 30 or 60 or however many mutual connections. And maybe there could be an opportunity to strike up a conversation saying, you know, Bob, loved your post. That was really impactful. And I also see, you know, Sue, you know, what's the connection there? And then you never know what can come out of that. Maybe one day you work for that person or work with them. So I think actually that's huge in terms of how to excel on LinkedIn. And then I know Whitney here commented in saying offering to write recommendations on LinkedIn for your teammates and colleagues. Yeah, offering or just going and doing it too. Like I said, what jumpstarted me back in recommendation world was getting like 3 or 4 kind of out of the blue. And then it goes back to that being seen piece and how good that feels to be recognized for the hard work that you're doing. Because I think that the real true go-givers, they don't need the recognition, but it's certainly appreciated. But they're not doing it for the recognition. So yeah, so LinkedIn recommendations, no doubt. We're getting lit up here. This is good. I like it. Keep them coming. So Matt, Matt says, when sharing on LinkedIn, briefly audit your posting for each of the 5 laws. Really well said. Really well said. So yeah, so think about, again, value, compensation, influence, authenticity, and receptivity. And again, it doesn't have to be hard and fast with how they would relate to your post, but you know, it could be some flavor, if you will, of the laws. So that's really well said. I'm going to start doing that too, Matt. Well done. Yeah, you got a question? Sorry.
Just the simplest way to do that is ask yourself 2 questions and when you post something on LinkedIn. Or at least that's the way I look at it. Number 1, is this helping other people more than it's helping me? And number 2, is it helping me a little bit? And once you answer both those questions, that really covers all 5 laws.
Yeah, you're right, because that'll hit on the law of receptivity, the law of influence, and then the law of influence almost can play off of compensation. Yeah, and if you're authentic, I mean, that could just be flavored in there too. So yeah, I just wrote those down. So is this helping others more than me? And is it helping a little bit? Understood. I like that. Any other comments on that?
The one thing I always say is otherwise it's just marketing.
True. Yeah, and our buddy there, Matt, Paul Greiner, put out a cool post about, it's like that spoof, if you guys saw it this morning, about like a salesperson, you know, the new reality that we're living in saying, you know, I want to help, here's 20% off or something. It was a funny kind of like a meme that one of our mutual friends put out. So let's see here. Mary Lynn, letting people help you in some way, even a small way, is important to their self-image. Right. So you're helping others actualize themselves. So if they love to help people, by you being open to receiving help, you're then, you know, in a way helping them help you. So that's awesome. Well said, Mary Lynn. Again, you're delivering everyone. This is all gold. So thank you. And Lauren's just commenting there. Thank you, Lauren. She's off the call. Yeah. So Claire, same thing, throwing in there. We all have our own journeys and experiences. I love getting to know people. I love that, Matt. Always ask yourself if your connections are going to find this. Yeah. So words of affirmation. Agreed. Here we go. Whitney now saying, always think about planting seeds, meeting any, all people everywhere. See yourself as a bridge first. Can't tell you how many times I've met someone who I didn't know a friend would need later. Full circle moments are beautiful and priceless. Wow. Really well said. And that's how I look at it too, folks. It's the same thing. You know, you just never know what can come of a new relationship. Now, within reason, we've all had those experiences, not to speak ill or negatively, but you know, there are people, I can think of a few in my head, you know, where I'm at events and I'm like, is this actually real? Where's the camera? Am I being punked? And it ended up being real. And then that's where you're kind of like, I'm good. All good. Good luck kind of figuring it out. So here you go, Jack. Okay. Yeah. Jacqueline, thanks for circling back on that. Yeah. Cool. So we're all caught up. So yeah, you know, I think we're hitting the essence of this. How do we excel? It's really honestly applying these 5 laws, like Matt had mentioned in a post, but also then to your profile. So I think we covered that. And are there any other remarks on, again, how to excel on LinkedIn and business and life by being a go-giver? Cool. And honestly,
sorry, John, it's a perfect example. I'm sure many of you, if you're not connected with John yet, you will be after this session. His posts are great. He's got the hashtags, he's got the tagging of people, he's got the inspirational messages. So even if you're like, how do I take all this and put this into my life? Just scroll through John's feed. I'm going to guess someone like Scott and Matt, I know I'll be connecting with you after this session, are probably doing similar type of post. So that would be at least my recommendation for probably a first start is, if it, sometimes it might be it's not too much, but like if your persona doesn't match maybe the couple paragraphs or this, if it's just one or two things, a fun emoji, whatever it might be. So definitely, as people are signing off, check those profiles.
Well said, Jack, and thanks for those kind words. And definitely, if we're not connected, I would assume a lot of us already are because I'm a LinkedIn fiend. But if not, let's do it. And I think another cool thing too would be, sharing about today, not even about me, but just about Go Giver. It doesn't matter about me and the involvement in the talk, but what you learned today about Go Giving in the book, if something you've already started reading, or any of that. Whitney, my favorite probably has to be. I might have a few. It's hard to say one. I think #dream. So Whitney asked, what's your favorite LinkedIn hashtag? It's important, like any other social media, that first of all, it's relevant, but also you want it to have a decent followership. So meaning when you have that hashtag, it aggregates everything into a portal or like a feed. So if you put in something really obscure, it's probably gonna have, limited followers, or if any. But a hashtag like dream, I bet you if I checked, and I know I follow, it's probably got hundreds of thousands or millions. So your post then will then be put in that, indexed, I should say, into the dream feed by hashtagging. So I'd say probably dream, and of course, go Bills. But I think some of our Bills fans will appreciate that. But that one doesn't always aggregate that incredibly well. Go Bills, 26 shirts, Mafia, go Bills, love it. So yeah, no, this is all really good. And again, Jack, that was well said. I'm seeing Jim here, class of 79. Thank you, first of all, Jim. Thanks for being here. And then I'm looking at a book here. The book is Legendary by Tommy Breedlove. So the title is Legendary because that's like one of my favorite words. That might be my third ranked, go Bills actually. That might be my third ranked favorite LinkedIn hashtag is Legendary because
it's a great book. I highly recommend it. Very complimentary to Go Giver.
All right, I'm gonna absolutely do that. I'm gonna make sure I make a mental note. Legendary. Thanks, Jim, for that.
And John, when we share this, the chat in the share will also be up. So anyone else that's on here, if you're like, wait, I didn't catch everything from Jim's recommendation here to any of the things that we've discussed would be in the shared dialogue.
Very good, very good. And thank you. And I'm looking at Pat. Go Bills, best cause of love, authenticity for John. Yeah, Pat and I have enjoyed a game or two of the Bills. Go Bills, Bills Mafia. Look at that, Matt's background there. That's funny. So yeah, I mean, even in this chat, we've covered, I think, most of the laws. Obviously, it might be a little hard to have the law of compensation played out in this, but hey, maybe there's a connection you make from some of the folks on here that leads to some sort of business opportunity, then great. Let's see here. So we got some other good comments here. So another easy read that relates to all this is The Energy Bus by John Gordon. John Gordon is the man. I love his stuff. It's about keeping your spirits, energy, and self-motivation high while helping and giving to others. So far we've got Legendary and The Energy Bus. And I know John has put that out on his media. I'm connected with him on LinkedIn as well, and I see his posts. I absolutely love his. So thanks, Jacob, for that rec. And let's see, Jennifer, thank you for the 5 laws. Apologies for not participating. Not a problem, Jennifer. Hope that webpage is prime time. Thanks, Claire, for being here. And yeah, I hadn't heard of the book, so that's great. So I'm excited. And then, yeah, hope to see you soon too, Evan. Thank you. You rock as well. Trying to think, are there any last minute, finishes here with 4 minutes left in our allocated hour? Thanks, Anna Maria. Appreciate that. Right back at you. Awesome. That's awesome. Anything else that we got? Thoughts? Thank you, Ashley. Thank you, Mary Lynn. Mary Lynn, you're great. We got to connect. Make sure we all connect. You can find me on LinkedIn. You'll see my bearded face with a little less beard hair in my profile photo, and actually dressed professionally, which I haven't done in the last 2 months. So
That's all.
Dr. Barnwell, thank you. Looking forward to your chat. Dan Abitoy doing some cool things with Venture Herd, the man himself, that really cool thing they're doing with aggregating events in Buffalo and Niagara so that we can be more efficient with our event planning. So thanks Dan for what you're doing there. Thanks, Kim. Thanks, everybody. Yep. Looking forward to seeing this and connecting on LinkedIn when we can. And Maria with the beard, I like that, the beard remark. Anything else? What else we got? Any last thoughts, comments, questions? As my father used to say when I would hear him in his classes, thoughts, questions, comments, concerns.
I think we all could.
I think I can just do it to myself too, which is a little alarming. I just get excited and start talking to myself. Learned that from my grandmother. She used to talk to herself.
Oh, it is. Center energy is always so contagious, and we appreciate you taking the time to
Appreciate
speak to
it.
all of us, and this will be shared. You know, you just are giving up your time so generously, so often, whether it be personally, professionally, LinkedIn, through Niagara, obviously all your contacts in Western New York and beyond. So thank you so much.
Thank you. That's humbling. Get me a little emotional even. Thank you. And thanks to everyone in the chat. And Whitney, we'll connect offline on your technical question. Let's do a LinkedIn message. I heard a message pop up. I don't know if it was you, but let's connect, Whitney. I'd love to help there. And again, Jacqueline, that was great. Again, kudos to Jacqueline and Howard for all the great work they do for our alums. You know, what they do on a daily basis right now too with this virtualized, I mean, talk about unsung heroes. Being able to keep the ball, the momentum, you know, ball downfield with the virtual stuff here. You know, that's no easy lift. So appreciate Jack and Howard for putting this together. And I guess one last thing I'll say is if whoever's still on, if you guys like golf and networking, or at least one of the two, or just good people, when Bad Golf Business School starts back up, it's something I co-founded. It's basically a forum for all people, I would say, any skill level, any industry, any walk of life, to connect around the game of golf on civic, personal, business, professional, whatever. So Bad Golf Business School, it's on LinkedIn, it's on different social platforms. I have been kind of the big advocate for that. And once this is all said and done, would be awesome to see some familiar faces from today's chat at a Bad Golf Business School event. More info though would be found there. I know it's pretty brief, but something to think about. It's fun. I know we got some bad golfers on the call right now.
Yes, you
Good
do
job,
have
John.
bad golfers on this
Literally
call.
and figuratively, but we call our
Yeah.
participants bad golfers for Bad Golf Business School. So yeah, just throwing that out there. Thanks, Brian. Thank you. And thanks, Mary Lynn, for that kind remark on the energy gift piece there. I appreciate that.
John, I thought Niagara represented well. This was really good. And John, great job. That's
Yeah, you're the man.
it's good to see you. It's good to hear from you. Again, your energy, everybody said it, contagious, man. And I hope we could all keep a conversation like this with someone like yourself or others. Keep these conversations going, because this is where you keep that positivity up. You start helping out. You become that go-giver and that go-getter, right?
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Well said, Scotty. And Scotty, salt of the earth, has become a good friend, a fast friend, doing really cool things, connecting people to their
Amen.
career. Thank you. Cool. Well, thanks everyone else. If any parting remarks, love it. Pat, can't wait to have you as well at a Bad Golf. That'll be great. So
Thank you all. Oh, sorry, Matt. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I'm never going to another Canisius College event. Do all NU stuff.
works. That's
Not a
awesome.
very long, no doubt.
That's awesome.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Everyone is welcome. All of our sessions too are open to friends of the university, friends of John, friends of anybody at any time. So I'll certainly appreciate it.
Heck yeah. Very good.
Well, I hope everyone enjoys the rest of their day. Thank you again for tuning in. Hopefully we'll see you again soon. Stay safe, be well, and go Bills.
Go Bills. Thanks again, everybody. Be good.
Take care.
Bye-bye.